So, yesterday, I was talking about I wanted a program that could find prime numbers. Just needed to input the number of prime numbers we need to find. So I did that off screen. Let me go through step by step on its inner working, and I will show you. So the first step is obvious. We need to take the input from the user. Number of elements we have taken as input, and I have made an empty list and an empty dictionary. Now I will go through why I make these both, because I needed to add a counter here. Now adding a counter here is not a big deal, but it will take more space and slow the system down, I think. That's what I think. So I used this primes loop to write to find the prime number. Now here, if the number is less than 3, then it can't be prime. So 1 is not a prime number. So if I is in, then if this will complete that loop. Now, if after that, I had to use like an else, but doesn't matter because this is going to execute anyways. So yeah, now this is going to loop through 2 and the number which is going on at the current time. So n here is the current number. This will loop through 2 and up to n times uh, root of n, up to root of n, because root of n is the what do we call, it is the root, so we need to multiply two of these. Now let me bring out my notepad and try explaining this. Let me delete this and uh, um, just like this. So if we want to find a multiple of, let's say, 4, then that is 2 times 2. But here the 2 is its root. Now let's say we want to find the if 5 is in. Now how do we get 5? We need to multiply root 5 by root 5. So 5 times sorry, 5 to the power 0.5, and this is 4 to the power of 2. 5 into 4 is to the power 2. So here the root is displayed 2 times. Now let's say we have a number like 12. That's it. 12 we know is 3 times 4 times 4. Now here 3 here is inside under the root of 12. 3 here lies under the root of 12. So we need to multiply something that is exactly the root or something that is less than the root. Like 2 times 1 if we have, so root 2 is greater than, right? Like, so it needs to be greater than root of that. The one is smaller than that. So yeah, it is in the range. That is my explanation of why this works. And I use Gemini or whatever that AI mode of Google is. I use that for some help. But yeah, so here I defined the function and I started it from 2. Now there is a while loop going on. Now this while loop will loop this function up to the point where the length of the primes. So total number of total values inside prime is uh, equal to or less than. So this will I could have used this, but the problem with that is that it will always uh, what to say, it will stop once it hits a number of primes minus 1. So we either had to do plus 1 here. One solution is plus 1, but the other solution is just do this. Now when it is equal to number of primes, then also value of this will be true. So the while loop will continue for one more time. Now moving forward, if the number is prime, if the current number is prime, we will append it to current number. So primes. Now this will add another digit to primes, and the loop will go on. Now the current number here, we added another one to it. So the current number will keep it increasing starting from 2, starting from 2 until the total number of primes are equal to in the length. So the length we want. Now the number of now we had a list of primes here. Now what if we want to write like what do we call mark? Mark, yeah, mark can be used. So which number that prime is. So like 1 is 2, and then 2 is 3, and then we have 5, and then we have 7, and so on and so forth. That's why I used a for loop for n in range length primes. So this will loop through every single element in this, and n will be our what do we call the unit. So, but the problem here is n start at 0, and we need our counting to start from 1. So I did n plus 1 here. There are same number of elements, just n plus 1 here because we want to it to start from 1 and end it exactly at the number we wanted. You guys might have noticed any number in the list, any length of list returns the number, but the range will stop it from reaching that number. So if the number is 2, the range function will stop it at 1, so far and so forth. That can vary. If it is at 100, it will stop it at 99, and that goes on. So every number is marked, and then we are just uh, printing. Now this gets slow if the number is large. So let's run it and have a look. Like if the number is 10, we can get, yeah, it was, it took some time, but yeah, did the time could be felt, but yeah, here it is marked 1, first number is 2, second number is 3, third number is 5, fourth number is 7, fifth number is 11, and sixth number is 13, 17 and 18 and 23 and 29. Yeah, that. Well, now let's talk when it gets slow. It gets slow when the number of elements we want is large. Like we want 1000 or 10,000. Now I have executed at 10,000. So yeah, it took some time to get to 10,000 digits. And yep, as we can see, it is a long list. It is not a short list that we could read. I have to scroll continuously a long distance to get to the end of this list. So this was what I was talking about with that. What our issue here is. So yeah, we did that. Now for moving further, let let's just revise what we did before. What we did before is like I have notes. My notes are here, and this is actually day three, day four. I need to change the title of this stream, but I can do that later. Now, this is what we did in dictionaries. The zip function is used to put together two lists of keys and values. So if we have a list of keys and then we have a list of values, we can just turn it into a dictionary and we don't have to use a loop for that. We actually a double loop. We need a loop inside a loop if we want to do it normally. What this does is just we put a list here and another list here. This list is keys and the other list is values. So this will turn it into a dictionary. Now, from key. From key is a it is also a tool to make a dictionary like this. But here we can see we are taking in keys as values and we are assigning it to these values. So the first element in this first key value in this list is the value of that is first value in this list. Here, on the other hand, we need to put list, a same list. Let me mark it. So we need a list here, but the what we don't have to do is we don't have to put values here. So every value here would be assigned to the whole list. So if this is like 10, 10 numbers, 10 keys, 10 different keys, and we have like a value like 10, integer value like 10, put as the value here. Every value that is in that every key in this list would acquire, it would make a dictionary where every key which is taken from this sequence list would have a value 10, the integer we which we provided to be 10. Now, where this differs from this assigns a value, first value to first value, second value to second value. This assigned one value to all keys. So that was a function. Now get we use it to get a key. It is like a search function, but faster. How much faster and how it works is another question. But it is better, I think. Better is a good way because it doesn't give an error. If we find an error while running a loop, like if we let me just show you how what I'm talking about. So let me just duplicate the tab and uh, so let's say we have a dictionary here named dictionary one, and we have a value here like we assign a value 1 to high. Now if we say print dictionary 1 and we want our the number with the key value 1, it will print it. So let's run it and see why. Yeah, so here it's printed high here. Now what happens if we ask for the digit in number 2? Now let me tell you what will happen. It will give an error. So let's run it and check out what that error is. Yeah, so here we have a key error of 2. It is saying that this 2 here does not exist in the dictionary here. Now where does this get function differs? Get function differs in the main principle of this. So if instead of dictionary 1 we said dictionary 1 and 2, we said dictionary 1 dot get 2, and there is no 2 in this dictionary. It will just say none. It will just take an input as yeah. So here it did, and it will just default value is none, but that is not the only value. So what I mean by that is not the only value is we can just add a comma here and we can just write hello. Now if we are searching for the key one, it should say hi. Yeah, it did. And if we search for something that is uh, not in this print, the dictionary we have provided it, it will give it an default value assigned. That default value can be changed to some other value. That other value here is hello. So if we run this, instead of hi that is in the dictionary, instead of hi that is in a dictionary, it will say hello. Yeah, so here it printed out hello here, and that's the main function of this. So let's just give it some lines and item here would give a list, not exactly a list, it would give a list function in which that will have a list. So it will write like dictionary one dot item dictionary one dot items bracket top one, in that there would be a list, and there will be tulips inside the list, tuples, or I should say tuples inside the list that would uh, have the keys and the values inside. Where this differs is if we directly use a for loop to extract the information from directly the dictionary, that would only return the keys. or we used dot keys values or dot values function. Dot values function differs as it provides us only with the values that are inside that key. So essentially, the loop we use like right here. If we want to take out all the values from this into a list, we can do uh, list one equal to use a list function and put dictionary one dot values inside, and it would directly give us the values, and we don't have to calculate each and every value and go through a for loop. That would slow our system down. So yeah, that would slow our system down. So we don't have to use that. Now this is fine because there is I don't think there is that function to take it from list to this. Though there is a function if we have uh, a list of these numbers previously loaded, then we're going to assign it using the zip, but the zip function would not work here exactly. So we use the for loop. Zip can work, but we have to assign it like yeah, it is a hassle. Now, what else did we have? To list turns an array into a list. We did array, it is formed by array.array, and that this array needs to be imported, else it would not work. Now, this was a function I needed in one of the questions. I had a look into this. This could be solved two ways. One is a for loop. For loop can we can join things like if we have a list of strings that have alphabets in them, and we need to join those alphabets to find a value. That's where this join comes in clutch. So this join would take in, so this is an empty space, and this A is the list of what do we say? List or tuples of what do we call that? Alphabets that are arranged in an order to form a word. So this function would just join them together to form that word. So yesterday, yesterday we did object-oriented programming and we did a few questions on that. So the internet is back and running. So let me just switch this and I will be right with you guys. So yep, so it is here. So let me just bring that up. So this is 35% completed, and we are going to do more today. So yesterday we did this constructors. What are constructors? They were talking about the init function and how it automatically executes when the we there is like They are practically the initializers. So the constructors, we can put values in that setup we need to do to before we run the main software, the class essentially. Now the destructors were too close. So the del function is like it's a cleanup tool. It will clean up the RAM. The storage is essentially it will clear up the storage and it would use a cell. So del dot cell, we would just pass it and it will close the file. That was all we did this question. So it is taking some more time to load. So yeah, so we had to create a class manager and we needed name and department and salary, all that sort of things. We created an instance right here and we took the three inputs. Now, one question I have from them is why we need to create an instance here when we put in the values here. That is where I lack in understanding, but I did that here and it worked. So it works. So I don't need to worry about that. Uh, So let me just bring out the next message. And my internet is not working on my second device. No, it is very slow. What is happening to my internet? So content and we go into this instance method. Now let me just have a look. Methods in class. That's a question. Self parameter understanding. That is a question. So there is an MCU here, built-in decorators. We are going to be doing that last, but we need to understand about how a class works and methods, what are the methods we need. And I personally want to learn about self, what is self, why we put it in any function that is made inside a class. We created class that holds data like pen, model, color, but in real world objects don't store information. They also do things. In Python, the actions are represented using methods. In a class, if a class is a blueprint and object is the real car, then methods are what make the car do something like press a button to start it. A method is a function defined as the class that works with the class's attributes and performs such operation using them. So, okay, sounds easy, Let's define a simple class again. Mhm. Yeah, they did in the Python. Let me just um, uh, and how do we look this exactly? This, this, reopen it. Yeah, do this. So yeah, class classes been created. We use define. We defined in it that this executes automatically. Brand and model. This is stored inside this class, and we use start them and yeah, it started. So the task is a student class is already defined and initialized with the name and attribute grade. The student object has also been created and method called. Okay, so your task is to let me see. Yeah, they also created an object after they took the input. Yeah, that's where all. Yeah. So define a method to display details. Okay, enter the name, enter the grade, name, and grade. Okay, sounds easy enough. So we do define and display grade is the name. So display underscore to details. So this would take in self and yeah. Now, 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 when it comes to printing, do we just do this print and this name? So, and no. Let me just ask if the syntax here is my syntax here is correct. And okay, so is let me just stop the YouTube and